The man shoved his head into the refrigerator, frantically scraping old, broken ice into his mouth. He sucked desperately at the water droplets on the shelves until not a single drop remained. Only then did Jack finally pull away, reluctantly. But the next second, he broke down sobbing right there in the fridge, his cries pitiful and raw. As a burglar who'd broken into this luxury penthouse, he'd now been trapped inside for 2 full days. If he didn't find a way out soon, even if he didn't starve, he'd die of thirst. But escaping was easier said than done. The penthouse sat atop the 60th floor, its walls lined with soundproof, explosion-resistant glass. Aside from the locked front door, there was no way out. Jack ran his hands over the door, realizing it was solid hardwood. He dragged his fingertips along every seam, searching for the weakest spot, then began hacking at it with his pocket knife. Just one hole, that's all he needed to reach the outside latch. Before long, he'd carved a sizable gap. Hope surged through him, and he worked faster. But as time crawled by, the damaged central air conditioning grew hotter. Beads of sweat rolled down the back of his neck. The water he'd gotten from the fridge was long gone, his body dehydrated beyond endurance. He dropped the knife, scrambling through the house for anything to drink. Ever since the alarm had been triggered, the water had been cut off. Not a single faucet, not even the toilet, yielded a drop. He stared at the dry bowl for a long time but couldn't bring himself to drink from it. Desperate, he crawled into the corner of the living room where decorative plants sat, clawing at the automatic sprinkler pipes. But when he twisted them open, nothing. Finally, his eyes landed on the lavish aquarium. He dipped a finger in, brought it to his lips, and sucked hard. The salt water was bitter and harsh, only worsening his parched throat. Defeated, Jack forced himself back to the door, resuming his carving. Then, clink! The knife struck something unyielding. He froze, fingers probing the hole. His heart sank. The door was reinforced with a solid steel plate. Without professional tools, there was no way through. In a last-ditch effort, he grabbed his walkie-talkie, calling for his crew, but they'd already abandoned him. He shouted into the static all night. No response. By morning, he snatched the penthouse landline to call the police, but it was dead. He tried the computer, only to find it had no internet. The whole place felt like a carefully designed prison, tailor-made for him. Then, his gaze drifted upward. The ventilation duct. Jack paused. And then an idea.